Cricket presents The Campfire, and today we are talking District 3-5A Division 1. The schools in this 9-team district include Aledo, Azle, Burleson Centennial, Denton Ryan, South Hills, The Colony, Northwest, Saginaw, and Brewer. Let's analyze these teams in our film session. When this district was formed during the last realignment, we felt this district would be fun, and it most certainly was. However, in 2023, the graduation bug looks to have hit most of the schools in this district. Well, most schools not named Aledo, that is. The defending 5A Division I state champs are about as loaded as they've ever been and are favorites to repeat as district champs, maybe state champs. District MVP Hoss Haney returns behind center along with first-team running back Hawk Patrick Daniels. And their defense will drive district foes nuts, with Devon Keys returning at linebacker and Jaden Allen and Chris Johnson back in the secondary. Burleson Centennial only lost to one team last year, but it just so happened to be the Bearcats. Twice. They've graduated dual threat Philip Hamilton, but first-team cornerback Iverson Moore will go both ways for the Spartans, as he'll take over the quarterback position. Denton Ryan is one of the district's greatest mysteries. They had a ton of experience move on and will be looking to underclassmen to lead them. Watch out for junior linebacker Dylan Arkansas to have a huge year for the Raider defense. The Colony missed the postseason by a game last year, but they return Offensive Newcomer of the Year Carson Cox at quarterback. Justin Northwest's pass-happy offense earned them a playoff spot last year, and they'll air it out again. But they'll have to do it with a whole new cast of characters, as graduation took away most of their starters. A couple of teams that could have bounce-back seasons are Azle and Brewer. The Bears had a solid ground attack last year, and that is intact again for 2023. Azle was only 3-7 a year ago, but head coach Devin Doris isn't one to stay down long, so expect the Hornets to fight for a top 4 spot. Saginaw and South Hills finished with a combined 2 wins on the season and will battle for respectability in this tough district. Switch to Cricket and get a free Moto G 5G with your new plan. Smile, you're on Cricket. Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Do you or your student want a career training the world's best athletes? Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today. For an even deeper look at 3-5A Division I, here's producer Ward Fasold and insider Matt Diggs with the district breakdown.
District breakdown time, 3-5A Division I. I got my guy Diggs over there. He's the high school insider, and he has got some things to say about this district. Hey, remember last year when we talked about they put this district together and we're like, hey, 6 teams finished in first place last year. I don't know who's going to make the playoffs. And now, from what I read from you on Twitter, we don't know who's going to make the playoffs for another reason, because they're all not as talented.
Like last year, we had the senior class of all senior classes. Just about everybody outside of Aledo graduated all of their top players. And you start to look at this district and really start to break it down. I was like, the very first thing I do when I go through these things is I kind of go look at the all-district teams. I'm like, okay, who's coming back? Who's going to be players that we need to keep an eye on? And you kind of go dig into Huddle and do some research. And you look at that all-district list last year, and just about everybody on the first team and second team who wasn't from Aledo were all seniors. And you start to see the names of everybody who graduated, Philip Hamilton and Anthony Hill. And all of a sudden you're like, Jake Strong, you're looking at all these players who have graduated and you're like, who's going to fill their shoes? And then you start looking at some of these JV teams, and it's like, it's going to be a lot of people's JV teams are coming up in complete totality. It is a mess in this district. Aledo is probably, with this kind of a setup, really set, pretty much guaranteed a trip to the state semifinals. Now, will they get out of the state semifinals? I think I'll have some things to say about that as we break down Aledo. But this district is not a strong district. My official all too early picks, I've got Aledo number 1, Burleson Centennial number 2, Denton Ryan number 3, forward through 4, Justin Northwest 5, The Colony 6, Azle 7, Saginaw 8, and 4, South Hills number 9.
Well, it'll be an exciting district, and let's hope Aledo doesn't get any bullying letters sent to them other than Fort Worth, because they look heads and tails above. But we'll talk 4-5A Division I next week.
I know you're excited to talk about all of the great teams in the Metroplex next week, like Killeen, Shoemaker.
We will talk about all those Metroplexers later.
We'll post the entire breakdown segment this Wednesday on our social media pages. Now let's take a look at some game changers and our players on the rise presented by Parker University. Let's start off by talking about a Hoss, Aledo quarterback Hoss Haney. He threw for almost 2,100 yards and 20 touchdowns while rushing for just under 1,300 yards and 15 more scores. Hoss is an undersized QB but makes up for it with top-end speed. Haney was 3-5A's overall MVP last year as he led Aledo to a state title. He verbally committed to TCU in April. Burleson Centennial's Iverson Moore could be the most interesting player in the entire district. Although many athletes play on both sides of the ball in Class 5A's highest division, it's rare to see a starting quarterback go both ways. That's what Moore will be doing for the Spartans. Iverson was a lockdown corner for Centennial last year and earned first-team all-district accolades. This year, he is head coach Kyle Geller's best option to replace Philip Hamilton at quarterback, so don't expect to see Moore spend much time on the sidelines. One of the best returning running backs in the district is Brewers' Mekhi Elmore. Through 6 games last season, Elmore rushed for 731 yards and 8 touchdowns. Those numbers will go up with a full 10 games under his belt in 2023. Mekhi also plays strong safety and linebacker for the Bear defense, so he'll be another athlete in this district who won't take too many plays off. Devon Keys is one of many defensive standouts we could have highlighted for Aledo, but we chose Keys because he's a true game changer. Devon recorded 129 tackles, forced 3 fumbles, and returned an interception to the house last year for the Bearcats. Always around the ball, Keys is one of the main reasons Aledo could be in line for another state title. Devon verbally committed to LSU in March. Switch to Cricket and get 4 lines for $25 each per month, plus unlimited nationwide 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket. Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today. Our Ward Fasol cut up to Centennial head coach Kyle Geller to talk about his Spartans in our Media Day segment.
All right, it's Media Day. We are talking 3-5A Division I, and we are joined with head coach Kyle Geller of Burleson Centennial. Coach, coming into this district last year after realignment, the first thing I noticed that there were 6 teams that had a piece of a district title the year before, and I was like, oh my goodness, this district is going to be ridiculous. And it played out just like that. You guys finished up second, just behind the state champion team. The only team that beat you, right?
Yeah, we were 12-2, and they beat us both times.
So talk a little bit how your experience with the district last year, and kind of what your now that you've gone through it once, what you hope to see next year. Obviously, you're going to have some new coaches in there, especially with that top team. But talk a little bit about that district.
Well, I remember when that district was formed on realignment day, when it came out, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I get a text from Azel's head coach, Coach Doris, and he said, I don't know who we pissed off at the UIL. That's one of the funniest things. I started laughing. But yeah, it's a really tough district. And I think it showed, in the playoffs and whatnot. We represented ourselves pretty good, and just top to bottom, pretty darn good. And it's only going to get better.
And we got 3 months to worry about that, right? We can figure it
out
in 3 months. Hey, I appreciate you joining us, Coach.
Oh, you bet.
Especially in May. Good luck during the off-season workouts, and I hope it's just an exciting district as it was last year.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you having me on. I'm excited about it. We're in the throes of spring football right now, so I'm fired up. We had a great practice this morning, an hour and a half, man. Every guys running after it. So love Texas high school football, man. It's the greatest sport in America.
We definitely concur with that, Coach. Thanks again.
All right, you take care.
You can catch the entire interview Friday on our social media channels. That's going to do it for this week's Campfire. Next week, we'll dive into District 4-5A Division I. Until then, have a great week, everybody.